Hey there YouTube, welcome back to yet another video. Yes, they continue. And today I've got something else completely different. Today I'm going to run you through my rather small collection of Malifaux miniatures. Malifaux is a game that sparked my interest when I first got back into wargaming. Things I liked about it was the style of some of the characters, and the weird and goofy monsters that seem to sort of exist in that world. Things that put me off of it were using playing cards as a game mechanic. I'm not a massive fan of playing cards, but again, the salvation was when they released their little two-player start set. But although I got that set and I've picked up a couple of, three gangs or posses or whatever they're called, I still have yet to play the game, and I don't know if I'll be playing it anytime soon. But I got to admit, I did enjoy painting the miniatures, so I'm basically going to run you through them all. We'll start with the crew, the sort of, I think they're called crews, that you get with the excuse my arm dangling across the screen here, I've got the figures all at the side here. The two starter set bands of figures. The first guy, the first group, I can't remember what these guys are called actually. You'll have to forgive my ignorance of the game because, like I say, I've never really played it. But basically show you, there's basically 4 figures for each faction. So there's a total of 8 figures in total that came with the starter set. And the first lot that came were, I'm not 100% sure what even their faction's called actually. But basically, the leader of this little group is this guy called Scion of Black Blood. So let's bring him in. This is my sort of adaptation of him. Quite a cool figure. Maybe not the most interesting figure I've ever seen in my life, but I'll bring you in and show you a closer look. The thing I quite like about Malifaux miniatures is their scale. They're a little bit bigger than your average figure. I can't remember the exact scale of them, but it could be like maybe 32 or 35mm. Again, not a particularly amazing figure, this particular specimen, but I think he came out pretty cool in the end. Certainly good enough for having a game. So that is Scion of Black Blood. Yep, Scion of Black Blood. Next up, we'll go for the two. These things are called Blood Wretches. These are like minions, and again, they're not particularly amazing characters as far as like characters go. But again, you know, they're fairly interesting to paint, even though they're fairly boringly dressed. But you can see they're kind of like these weird semi-demon-y type humanoids with sort of like mutated hands. I think they came out kind of cool. These obviously they're just generic, they don't even have names, they're just minions. So 2 of those. And finally, the last character of this particular clan is a character called Angel Eyes, who is a sniper. And here she is. So again, nothing super special really. But you can see that I've given her a custom base. And she turned out kind of cool. So that is the first posse, the more boring of all the rest of my miniatures connected with Malifaux, I would say. So next up we have the second group, which are led by a guy called Dr. Grimm, and these are all kind of medically themed sort of posse or gang, and they're pretty creepy, these guys. You certainly wouldn't want to meet them. You know, go into the emergency room and meet this guy. I'll bring him into the screen. So we'll start off with the two henchmen. These guys came out really cool. I also gave them custom bases, and then we've got a nurse and Dr. Grimm. Is it Grimwell himself here? So let's start with Dr. Grimwell. So let's bring him in. So this guy looks like a total raving maniac. He's got a chainsaw or a bone saw. He's got a cool sort of custom themed base which I made look like a sort of a morgue floor. So it's got like blood draining down the drain there. And I was really chuffed with how this guy turned out. I thought he came out really cool. That maniacal face there. So that is Dr. Grimwell. Pretty cool. Next up we'll go for one of the henchmen. So these guys are called orderlies. So we have this hulking brute here. He's got like an apron with syringes. He's got these menacing black gloves. This heavy, thick brown dark leather apron, and there's sort of like medical coat underneath it. He's got these like red tinted glasses on and big heavy boots. Of course he's also got this custom stand, the morgue floor. So that's him. The second orderly now. This guy's kind of like the alter ego of that guy. So while that guy was big and muscular, this guy is thin and ferrety. So here we have this creepy looking dude with glasses, goggles on again, and a medical mask, telling his victim to hush before he sticks them with a syringe. And again, he's got a custom base. Again, he came out really cool. And then finally, perhaps my favourite character of this bunch, simply called Nurse Heartsbane. And this character I think is awesome. So you can see she's like this nurse hiding behind a medical mask. She's got her electrode battery thing there, and she's got her like stockings on. And I guess that thing's like the electrode. But again, she's on a custom base. I thought she came out really cool. I was really pleased with how she turned out. So that is Nurse Heartsbane, or Heartsbane. And finally, just to end this pretty short video for what I've been churning out lately, we have, I mentioned that I had three other crews that I brought separately, and of those three crews, one's painted, one's being painted, and one is still in its box. So I shall show you the painted box, and it's actually a box plus one figure, and it's actually of a group called Pandora's crew, and it's made up out of the basic box set has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters in it. And then I added one character, which I brought separately. And let's get going. So, we'll start off with the namesake Pandora. So here's her card, Pandora, and you can see she is actually a living human. And she's kind of, and obviously she's connected to somehow to sort of Pandora's box, I guess. But that's her sort of picture in art form. And here is the miniature of her. So you can see that I went for sort of like a checkered floor. And she's got her green dress and her red flowing hair. And the box itself releasing some supernatural energy there. Thought she came out really cool. So that is Pandora there. Very pleased with how she turned out. Next up, we'll go for the sort of the slightly more boring creatures of the this particular gang. Saying, although you know, boring in the terms that they're just like minions. We'll start off with 3 minions called Sorrows. Pretty creepy looking things, these. And although they have a very basic paint scheme, I think they turned out pretty cool. So these are the 3 Sorrows. Kind of bring you in for a closer look. So these are kind of supposed to be, they're kind of woeful spirits. And the miniatures themselves are really cool. The big thing about Malifaux miniatures are they're really difficult to put together. And the instructions that you have to look up online really aren't that helpful in a lot of circumstances. But I did, you know, I persevered and finally managed to sort out how to put these guys together. And I think they came out pretty cool. They've got a very basic colour scheme. They're all mixed up out of greys, these guys, and I think they turned out pretty cool. And again, I continued that theme of the checkered floor all along this this sort of group. So as you can see, they're kind of creepy. Got these long sort of clawful arms and spines coming out of their backs, and they're sort of like they're sort of spirits. And the third one, this guy has got very fragile arms. I actually managed to snap his arm. I'd literally just finished painting him and I dropped him and his arm snapped off, but I managed to repair it. Very, very thin arms. But again, you know, very basic colour scheme, but I thought it worked really well. Okay, so that's the Sorrows. So we get those out of the way. 1, 2, 3 Sorrows. Next up, we have the next minion, and this guy is called the Poltergeist. And again, I think this guy came out kind of cool. I painted him slightly different to how he looks in this picture. Let me show you his picture actually. Sorry, Poltergeist, there we go. So this is what the Poltergeist looks like in the picture. And this is the way that I made my Poltergeist turn out. So I decided to make him ethereal. So it's kind of this, you know, this iridescent blue writhing spirit with a an almost solid looking face. Thought it turned out really cool. I mean, would you like that visiting you in the night? I don't think so. So that is the Poltergeist, and again he's got that same themed stand. I actually made those bases myself. I used the basic stands that came with them, and I added Malifaux to the middles, and then carved out the squares using a scalpel. Next up, we got the perhaps the two creepiest characters of this gang, and we'll start with one of the henchmen here. So this one is called Candy, and it's basically this little girl holding a basket of candy and skulls, and she looks pretty evil. So that's the picture. And here is the miniature. Very petite little miniature this. So there she is. And again she's got the checkered floor. And you can see that she's got her basket of candy canes with a skull in it. And she's got whited out eyes. And she's wearing her black and gold with white highlight dress. She has actually got eyeballs. You can see how delicate and small this miniature is. I mean, there's my thumb, for instance. It's like she's smaller than half of my thumb. So that is Candy, who's pretty creepy. And now perhaps, well, I suppose you could say either the creepiest or the second creepiest compared to the miniature that's coming after him. We have the next creature, baby Cade, who is like a demonesque baby with a voodoo pinned teddy bear. And so that's the artwork, and here is the miniature. So you can see that I've kind of based him so that it looks like he's sitting on like a sort of little mat. He's got his voodoo teddy bear there, and he's got his knife. He's got these blacked out eyes, and other than that it's just like a little baby, just in a diaper. And you can see that this guy is literally the size of my thumbnail, so you can see how small and delicate this little model was. I can't remember if it was more than one piece. I've got a feeling it was 2 pieces, and the teddy bear was loose. But very cool. Very happy with the way it turned out. So that is baby Cade. And now, possibly my favourite miniature of this whole crew. And we have the infamous Teddy. So let's just bring it into focus. Teddy, the enforcer construct of nightmares. So here we have Teddy, and he is very creepy looking. And here's the miniature. So here we have the same base, and there's the actual miniature himself. I think this guy came out awesome. I love the way he turned out. It's just this giant sewn together teddy bear of possessed, just tearing things up with his razor sharp teeth and razor sharp claws. I was really impressed with how this guy came out, and even compared to baby Cade, you can see what a massive miniature this guy is. Pure evil, but a very cool miniature. So that is a run through of my Malifaux figures. Hope you enjoyed it, and again, feel free to comment down below, and I'll catch you for another video real soon. So I'll catch you later.